And you're just in time for Richard Mwenja Exclusive, your home for analysis on matters to do with the politics and governance here in Kenya and across the region. Welcome to the conversation. I have your favorite think tank, former Minister Kipruto Arab Kirwa, ready to help me unpack the day's conversation, but let me bring him to your screens. He's looking sharp as always. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, I thank God for it. And I do appreciate these shows. They assist me remember some of the events of the past and appreciate our diversity as a nation and the fact that people are not tribal, except the leaders engineer tribalism by selling fear of the unknown and the prejudices that we have as a society.
So much feedback from our first part edition, matters to do with pre-election coalitions, and today we're gonna take a deep dive into the second part of it, delving into the nitty-gritties therein. But people are so much talking about your analysis and the homage you paid to Yusuf Haji.
Yes.
Was he such a friend to you?
It was more of a true leader, in my own estimation. He understood that society is complex. And the more you want to know about society, the more you complicate things for yourself. He understood, I think from his religious background, that society is complex. Society is dynamic. Society is unpredictable. Things that were seen yesterday not to be the right things are the most popular things today. That informed his way of handling issues of conflict management and issues of diplomacy. But for me, he was a diplomat by excellence because he knew various communities. He served these countries so many capacities. So, but as a colleague in parliament, we worked very well. And it was interesting to see my former PC now being initially nominated member of parliament. Therefore, rubbing shoulders with us before he was elevated to higher positions. Yeah.
Now, today on the show, whom do we have on Heroes Corner with Kipruto Arab Kirwa? Just unpack a bit of that.
I think the immediate former First Lady.
Margaret Kenyatta?
Margaret Kenyatta.
Wow.
Yeah, I think she qualifies. Yeah.
All right.
I would say more.
Very well. When that time comes at the tail end of today's conversation,
Yes.
Let's advance this subject to do with pre-election coalitions in this country. And I want to understand, is there a way whereby our political coalitions, pre-elections ones, can still go about their business without really spearheading ethnic divisions, much as they want to clinch power, so that it becomes not just about regional coalitions or ethnic coalitions, but a coalition that will foster unity in the fullness of time? Is there room for that?
You know, a political coalition is a product of our own political thinking, in the sense that the basic ingredients of any political formation is a number of people coming together to inform the direction they want to pursue, to inform the policies they want to put in place, and to inform their vision, hopes, aspirations, and at times frustrations that they are faced with. In that case, if the people spend more time thinking genuinely about democratic principles, then even the coalitions will have that as their blueprint. But if on the face of it, we don't believe even in democracy, except when we get more people voting for us, we think that's democracy. For me, democracy is before, during, and after elections. All those three stages are critical, in the sense that before elections, we talk of certain things, we do certain things, we do them in a certain way. During elections, there is also a recipe of a number of things that we do. And after elections, there is also the way we behave, and at times it does not reflect what we told people in the past. That's why at times we blame some leaders not to be genuine to the promises they made, or to have forgotten the promises they made. It's because we've not engaged our minds, invited each one of us personally to his own meeting with his own spirit and conscience, to ask, what is it that I want? What kind of democracy do I want? Is it democracy that gives me good results, or democracy that looks at things blindfolded? And the moment you say that is democracy that you want, that will be the beginning of getting to accept that democracy happens even when it does not favor you.
Sure enough.
So we still lack that, and we need even to inculcate in our children that democracy is about people. At times some people may not be good, but you must give them space to think about you, either favorably or not in favor of your thoughts.
Sure enough, rightly put there. But then you've been here for quite a while, and over time you'll agree with me that managing internal conflicts and crises within coalitions has remained something that has been more of elusive. And right now, to put it into context, we're seeing crisis within Azimio, crisis within Kenya Kwanza coalition. I mean, why are we still finding this a mountain high enough for coalition leaders and its members to ascend to?
It is because we've not converted our thoughts into that space called democratic space with democratic structures, including political parties, including operations in government. We've not engaged in that space. We talk about democracy in abstract. When it catches up with us, we say this is not democracy. This is harassment. Because you realize your opponent has more votes than you. But democracy should exist in a situation where, whether I'm right or wrong, the basics must remain. It is not when it is convenient you want to be in government. When it's convenient, you sort of want to run away from the opposition. And it makes what our lady, Mother Karua, the Honorable Mother Karua, said one time, that when you are making laws about how it will affect the opposition, put yourself in the shoes of those who are in the opposition or those who are in government, because the opposition of tomorrow may come out of the government of the day. So that if you are in government, you may make such strict rules as that when you're in the opposition, you find yourself disadvantaged. We must be making those rules knowing that you could be in those shoes tomorrow. These are shoes that you can exchange at the spur of a moment. One day you're in government, the following day you're in the opposition. So this is the way we should be looking at democracy. Yeah.
Very well. Moving on swiftly, I want to understand, even regardless of you being in parallel coalitions, is there room for us as a country to get to a point whereby coalitions will align on economic manifesto and on economic policies without feeling they are compromising on their pride and ego as a coalition?
You know, first of all, these political parties are not informed strictly by the policy held by that party. You realize many of the things in Kenya Kwanza manifesto were the same things that were in Azimio manifesto, except the style of presentation. Even 2017.
More of monkey see, monkey do?
That's the whole problem. Because usually whatever we are doing as a country should emanate from Vision 2030, which is supposed to be our guiding policy direction. And therefore, each one of us will now present a style of doing the things they do to achieve the ultimate goal of Vision 2030. But of course, people want to demonstrate that theirs is better. Raila was talking about 6,000
stipend.
Stipend?
Monthly.
Yeah, every month. The president was talking about bottom-up approach, the hustler narrative. Whether now, when they merge, are they merging their manifestos or their policy direction? That is an issue that we have to wait and see. But of course, this is some kind of makeshift arrangement. Makeshift in the sense that Raila, one morning, is saying he has not moved to government. He donated experts. He was called by Uhuru. He called William Ruto, or he was called by William Ruto. So I don't know, and even they are not telling us when did they meet and what was their initial blueprint.
Raila is becoming economical with the truth over time?
I think it's becoming elusive. elusive in the sense that he's doing what I call face saving. He realizes he has lost the constituency that has always supported him.
But isn't he aware that this could ruin his legacy, which he's tried so far to make it formidable enough over time?
Well, I think legacy is now suffering at the altar of convenience.
Really?
Yeah, that's what's happening. Because for him it is convenient to go to AU and possibly last there for 4 years or 8 years.
At the expense of the blood Gen Z shed in the streets because they were aligning with his ideas?
I don't know. You see politicians at times we have bad memory. You might have forgotten what happened and what is happening. And of course, he is more focused on the ball to win the chairman of the AU Commission. Otherwise, I don't think there is anything else that can inform that kind of erratic narrative, which is not like him in the past.
Kumaanisha atakuwa ameacha mbachao kwa msala upitao?
That may be the case, but what worries me, if he doesn't win, how is he going to handle himself in that space? Because winning and not winning are two cases that they're on the same plane. Remember, to win is not about the numbers alone. It's about the critical numbers that are required. You must get 2/3. Even if nobody was to contest against him, the way I'm seeing some candidates are dropping, he must get the 2/3 of heads of state and government.
It is not a walkover for him?
It's not a walkover. Especially the way they're handling issues of foreign policy, it can backlash. Remember, there are a number of factors: the Anglophone, Anglophone,
Saxophone and
Lusophone, and French, Francophone.
Francophone, yeah.
Yes, then there is the Muslim issue, the Arab issue. All those factors, they conspire to either allow him or frustrate him.
They either feed into the dream or feed out the dream.
Oh, yeah. And that may be one of the losses he's likely to experience. Yeah, and at times even the supporter may want him not to win.
Advancing this conversation further on matters to do with pre-election coalitions,
Yeah.
as a country, many years later after our independence, do you feel there are jurisdictions out here which we can borrow leave from when it comes to forming coalitions that will ensure there is long-term political stability and that they feed into governance in a country rather than breaking down on stability, political stability, and compromising on governance and democratic structures? Are there any? And you could cite examples if there is.
Well, a coalition is a product of a frustrated situation. Otherwise, initially, we should be going in as parties, as a strong political parties. And if you don't win, there should be provision on how you can deal with the subsequent results. But we seem to have come to believe that you must scheme against the other set of friends on the other side. That's why on the eve of the last election, people are moving from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. I remember some of the last entrants to Kenya Kwanza, because I was still there, was people like Justin Muturi, people like the current Speaker of the Senate, even the current Speaker of National Assembly, the current Prime Cabinet Secretary. All those people moved almost towards the end. And of course, then I also moved to Azimio almost 3 months to the election. It is all because we've not formed strong political culture. Lack of strong political culture in the sense that you are here just not by certain associations that are more comfortable with so and so. One of the basic things that made me even move to Azimio was the choice of Martha Karua as the running mate. That made me feel all the ministers. In fact, I remember the only minister in Kibaki, one that remained to the end, on the other side is Peter Ndwiga. Otherwise, all of us already in Azimio side. So I was the second last to leave Kenya Kwanza for Azimio, because I could see most of my colleagues, whether it's Raila himself, whether it's Karua, whether it's Kimunya, whether it's Raphael Tuju. Those are people who were together in Kibaki 1. And they were people Kibaki celebrated because we worked for him or with him. Actually, for Kibaki, you worked with him, not for him.
It wasn't a one-man show.
No, not one-man show. So, so we've not bonded enough to accept that one, we are in this space called Kenya, guided by this policy direction as Kenya Kwanza or this policy direction as Azimio. We are yet to develop that, what do you call it, the basic DNA of different political formations. Formations are conveniences crafted by individuals, and those individuals can change overnight because of reasons that are not on the surface. That is part of the problem. And as I told you, the raw material of democracy must first exist. One, to trust that you can lose election and it's still democracy. You can win election without harassing us, still democracy. But when you win with a paltry 230,000 votes and you say, we won fair and square, what is that? That's not democracy.
That isn't democracy?
It's not democracy to talk like that. That's a sign of display of arrogance and bad manners.
To say that it is God who chose us.
Yeah. And bring these singers from Tanzania. And I don't know why we never saw that. You know, in the counting hall, at Bomas, they were singing. And that was the rallying call for the president. So they were slicked.
You were caught flat-footed.
Flat-footed. We are still waiting. Then Jabukati comes with bad news.
and you had already laid down the carpet, the red carpet.
Yes.
In KICC.
Not KICC. Yes. Yeah, then the carpet was rolled.
Hawking false hope to your supporters.
We didn't know. Personally, I didn't know that we were going to.
So in 2027, you won't be quick to lay down another red carpet. You'll advise.
I was not involved in that. At times we wait back.
You know. They say success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. Are you part of those who are now running away from the failure that you got?
No, I'm not running away. What I'm saying is that some people are not realistic, because we were infiltrated. Even our agents. I remember in Eldoret, Kipkorir Menja was saying agents. He knew these are Kenya Kwanza people. And they were sent from Azimio headquarters.
So pesa ya agency ilikulwa?
Sijui nani alikula.
Very lastly, on the conversation about coalitions,
yes,
you have gone on record on this show boldly imploring or advising Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, who seem to have been betrayed by their seniors to move out, form coalitions of their own should they harbor presidential ambitions or other senior positions in government. But my question is, in the architecture of these coalitions that you are imploring them to form, which factors should be the cornerstone?
That's a very wonderful question. One of the basic things is that we must accept that today you are a minister, tomorrow you are a former minister. We must accept to play any role as long as the principles of democracy are being promoted. We must also accept that, of course, you don't get the best harvest every year, even for those of us who are maize farmers. Some seasons you have low harvest, some seasons you have pamba harvest.
Not because of fake fertilizer.
And, well, that one also includes in some of the problems. And of course, that was done by Kenya Kwanza. At times they say fertilizer during my tenure was 6,000, which is a lie. I've been asking them, bring the receipt of 2007, not 2008, because I had ceased to be a minister on 8th of January, 2008. So anything that happened after that, I was no longer the minister. I was former minister. Now, the other issue is that we must also engage in our national conversation that communities do exist, not to cause division, but to create some kind of basic material for national cohesion. And that cohesion is critical in the sense that if we don't subordinate the feelings of tribalism, we are likely to destroy this country. And our forefathers did better during Kanu and Kadu, while the tribe was a factor by talking of majority and minority, but it was not the overriding principle. It was the style of leadership. The third issue, as far as coalition is concerned, is that we must build institutions of conversation, institutions, so that at the end of the day, we just don't rush into coming together. We must ask ourselves the hard questions. That, yes, I've accepted to be part of the team. not because I'm the most important person, but because I believe in the cause that the rest of us do believe.
In the shared dreams and visions.
Shared dreams, visions, and the fear of frustrations.
Fear of frustrations.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. No one puts it better than the firebrand himself, former Minister Ruto Arab Kirwa. Let's jump straight to this insightful, informative, and sort of entertaining segment that is Heroes Corner with Kipruto Arab Kirwa, who is gracing our segment today as our hero or heroine.
A young lady, immediate former First Lady of the Republic of Kenya.
That of Beyond Zero campaign?
Beyond Zero campaign and the Linda Mama initiative. This is the lady who made it possible for ladies to realize you can go to hospital, get discharged without paying a penny.
Drop her name now.
Margaret Kenyatta.
Oh, okay.
Born in 1964, April. And she's around.
She's in town.
She's in town. She gave a lot of, and there's something very interesting about delivery of messages. She gave a lot of voice to the role of the First Lady, to the role of a mother, to the role of a spouse who gives you peace beyond the pretenses of society. She was very elegant, with a serious commanding voice and a mastery of the English language, like no other person had ever spoken English on the platform.
But she never prayed enough.
No.
There was little budget for intercessors during her tenure.
Prayers were reserved for private meetings, but not making it a state function as if we are a nation.
A theocrat?
A theocratic nation. So for us, she did the best to allow us realize the First Lady is a source of wisdom, restraint, and humility.
Were we lucky to have her as a First Lady?
Ever lucky. And I hope the next First Ladies, including your own wife, will copy a lot from her.
Amen to that.
Oh, yes.
You believe I can ascend to that house on the hill someday?
Yeah, but I might have died. But if I'm still alive, just invite me.
But you'll help me scout for a potential First Lady. Should I get there?
No, before you get there.
Before you get there?
How can you take a bachelor to the big house? It will acquire another status.
Very lastly on Margaret Kenyatta,
Yeah.
when it comes to lending a voice to women, to girls in this country,
Yeah.
despite in some saying she came from a family of dynasties and all that, do you feel that she was grounded enough to be in touch with the realities of the downtrodden, those in the slums, and the girls who are facing adversities in their upbringing?
That's why I said a lot of humility. Because, humility arises out of the fact that you may be privileged that you are born in a place that is slightly better than where I was born. But then you still understand society is different. And there are still people who are struggling literally. I remember she could go to Pokot, she could go to Samburu, and many other places in this country. I remember one of her functions in Narok County, and these areas that are considered to be disadvantaged. But there is plenty of talent, wisdom, and wealth in some of these areas. So I credit her a lot. Yeah.
So former President Uhuru Kenyatta made the right choice.
Well, I don't know why he made it. Now that's beyond me. But I think we were lucky as a nation that we had that lady as our First Lady.
Margaret Kenyatta.
Margaret Kenyatta.
Asante sana mama wa taifa, our former First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, for the contributions you've made to this country and also the voice you've given to the young boys and girls of this country. Literally breathing a sense of hope to them. Asante sana, Kipruto Arab Kirwa, Waziri, for your insights.
Asante.
Wait to see you on the next edition.
Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, next week I'll be around.
There's always enough tea in our studio.
Yes, before I go to Kitale.
Before you retire.
No, I will never retire.
You're not leaving the scene?
Revolutionaries never retire.
You need to take cue from Jimmy Kibaki, who retired from active politics.
When was he in politics?
This man, very funny. Until we meet next time on Richard Monja Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing.